The beams of our house are cedar, and our rafters of fir. Come with me from Lebanon, my spouse, with me from Lebanon. Look from the top of Hermon. The smell of thy garments is like the smell of Lebanon. His legs are as pillars of marble. His countenance is as Lebanon, excellent as the cedars. When the Christ was born, Galilee, west of the Jordan River, was the most northernmost of Palestine's 3 provinces. Its boundaries stretched until Phoenicia. Tyre, capital of Roman Phoenicia, had a cosmopolitan commercial port and a prosperous industry. Sidon, less thriving at the time, had kept the memory of a glorious past, that of Sidon the Great. This region was mixed and tolerant. Races and faiths blended with each other. We know from the Gospels that Jesus, on more than one occasion, sought shelter and tranquility in the region of Tyre and Sidon, to get away from the Pharisees and Sadducees and other malevolent people. He praised the faith of the residents of Tyre and Sidon. Woe unto thee, Chorazin! Woe unto thee, Bethsaida! For if the mighty works which were done in you had been done in Tyre and Sidon, they would have repented long ago in sackcloth and ashes. But I say unto you, it shall be more tolerable for Tyre and Sidon at the day of judgment than for you. In the mountain of North Lebanon, Christianity upholds a millenary presence, the history of which is marked out by countless sanctuaries. With its cliffs and its austerity, the Kadisha, or the Sacred Valley, is a highlight of piety, where men have sought God for centuries. Scattered with cave chapels, hermitages, and monasteries cut from rock, this valley is a hearth for meditation, confrontation with the absolute, perfectly conducive for an isolated encounter with God. The Kadisha has sheltered since the 3rd millennium BC generations of monks, hermits, and ascetics. Nestorians, Monophysites, Chalcedonians, Monothelites, and even Muslim Sufis have prayed there in all languages: Arabic, Greek, Syriac, and Ethiopian. The convent of St. Anthony Koshaya is located in the heart of the Kadisha Valley. The word Koshaya, derived from Syriac, means the treasure of life. The origin of the convent is said to date back to the early 5th century, a time when monastic life was spreading through the region. This particular convent represented a true model of monastic life. The church of the convent is the common work of nature and man. It is a natural grotto carved from rock. The facade of the church, with its colonnettes, its Moorish door, and its triple pinnacle turret, barely stand out from the cliff. They are both simple and beautiful. Cells, hanging straight from the rock like wasp nests, once sheltered the first hermits, men intoxicated with God. The printing press is considered to be the first and the most ancient in the East. Its characters are in Syriac. Some historians date its installation at the convent back to the year 1585. Our Lady of Hauka is a small monastery consisting of a chapel and a few cells, built within a porous porch. Chroniclers date its construction to around the end of the 13th century. Deserted all year long, the monastery turns into a site of pilgrimage during the Feast of the Assumption of the Virgin, and a high mass is celebrated there on the evening of August 14th. From Canobian, which means convent in Greek, is a model of simplicity and austerity. Local traditions attribute it a very ancient origin, as the Maronite patriarchal seat from the 15th to the 19th century. It was for a long time the living heart of this valley. The church, half embedded into the rock, is decorated with mural paintings dating to the early 18th century. The Notre Dame fresco depicts the crowning of the Virgin Mary with an inscription in Syriac taken from a section of the Song of the Songs. "Come from Lebanon, my bride, and you shall be crowned." A small distance away from the Canobian monastery is located the Grotto of Santa Marina, the history of which blends innocence and penitence. This grotto was transformed into a chapel. Many patriarchs chose to be buried here. Lebanese hold a great reverence for this saint and for her place of penitence. Mar Sarkis was probably a burial place. All it retains now is an altar topping a burial chamber carved into the rock. Two old oaks bestow on this place an atmosphere of calm and serenity, conducive to meditation. The cave grotto hermitage of Deir es-Salib housed the ruins of a monastery. The access to the cave cells is not an easy one, even with ladders and ropes. Eaten away by erosion, subjected to vandalism, inscriptions and frescoes, some of which date back to at least the 13th century, still remain. The very fact that Christian inscriptions in 3 languages, Greek, Syriac and Arabic, are found in this cave reveals that Christians from different rites and cultures may have met here. Or maybe did they follow each other? Or confronted each other? Deir es-Salib was a pole of attraction for hermits and monks from all sects, a focal point of Lebanese Christianity in older times. And the third day there was a marriage in Cana of Galilee. And the mother of Jesus was there, and both Jesus was called, and his disciples to the marriage. And when they wanted wine, the mother of Jesus saith unto him, They have no wine. Jesus saith unto her, Woman, what have I to do with thee? Mine hour is not yet come. His mother saith unto the servants, Whatsoever he saith unto you, do it. We know the rest of the story. Jesus had the 6 jars of water changed into wine. The miracle saved the newlyweds' face. Contemporary exegetes assert that Cana el-Jalil is the actual village of Cana in South Lebanon, 15 kilometers from Tyre. The famous grottos of Ferzal are located in the Bekaa Plain, 56 kilometers from Beirut. There are many of them. According to the tradition, they were inhabited by Cenobites, called the Habis, or hermits. In the north of the Bekaa, the cavern of Marmaroun is located 500 meters from the source of the Aront, Asi in Arabic. It's a 3 stories cavern carved in a peak of rock, about 90 meters high. This grotto, known as Der Marmaroun, was probably inhabited by monks. A tenacious legend identifies it with one of Saint Maron's retreats. It never ceased being a place of pilgrimage. The Lebanese mountain shelters quite a few churches featuring walls covered with mural paintings. They are completely neglected, and their appalling state calls for an urgent restoration. This mural art of Byzantine inspiration and local craftsmanship underwent its major development in the whole region in the 12th and 13th century, at the time of the Crusaders. In a small street of the village of Amiens rises the small church of Saint Phocas, dating from the period of the Crusaders. The inside is adorned with frescoes, including a scene of the Christ lending a helping hand to Adam and Eve. David and Solomon, Saint Phocas, Saint Simon the Stylite, and others are also painted on the walls and the pillars of the church. Bahtidat, a small village northeast of Byblos, houses an old rectangular-shaped Maronite chapel, dedicated to Saint Theodore. Its apse is covered with figures on the whole height of the wall, which relate the story of the Salute in 2 stages, according to the Old and the New Testament. Many figures appear on the walls, including those of Saint George and Saint Theodore.